All right, I think we can get started.
Yep.
Cool. Um, Again, thanks everyone for joining the webinar. So as you can see from the screen, hopefully you can see it. This webinar is about enterprise AI agent evaluation. Um, and we will go through why enterprise need to evaluate their AI agent before production and how currently evaluating AI agent is hard. I believe all of us here, and including me and Marcin and people who join, are somehow involved with building enterprise AI agent. Either you're building one or you're helping other enterprise build AI agent. So one common thing that we all agree on is you cannot ship what you can measure. If you don't know if the AI agent is working, how are you going to ship to your customer, right? So at what point do we know this AI agent is ready for the production? Here is this webinar where we actually gonna do a deep dive into this topic, how we're going to evaluate AI agent and when do we know this AI agent is ready for deployment to the production. So there's a common trap for the AI agent is a demo trap. I'm sure a lot of people are working on AI already know that AI is so amazing at making amazing demos. You're able to spend like maybe 2, 3 minutes and boom, you have an AI agent that looks very promising for the production for delivering to customer. This is commonly known as a demo trap. Why? Because the AI agent that you built it looks very amazing. It works very well on the demo. You just run a few prompts and it delivers a promising result. And then you think it's ready to go. The common trap is like you can see, just do a few manual prompts and it delivers the expected result. And you're basically eyeballing the output saying, hi, it actually works very well. It should be good to go. And you are verifying or you validating this AI agent by happy pass only, just like a few expected input and expected output. You just determine this is looks good to me, right? But most likely, this AI agent will be having a huge problem later on when it goes to production. Why? Because the scenario, it will be very unknown. You don't know how user going to interact with this AI agent. You don't know what's the new data comes in and how the AI agent is able to handling that. So the real evaluations should be very structured. We need to have a structured verification method and we need to have a hundreds of thousands of the verification on the all the input and expected output in a consistent way. And we need to have a numerical evidence to telling the customer saying, hey, this AI agent is actually delivering 98.5, for example, percent of the consistency and confidence. And then you will be able to ship the AI agent with the confidence. So there are common failure for the AI agent if we are not paying attention. First is the AI agent. Sometimes they follow the procedure, but then there will be a process drift when the AI agent works not 80% of the time, but when the user change the tone, let's just say if the user emphasize, hey, I need this urgently, the AI agent may act differently, depends on the tone. The second is the confidence is incorrect. For example, when there are multiple knowledges in the agent that we set it up, the knowledge, is always adapting, right? So, example, we actually have a new upgrade on the certain pipeline, but the AI agent may choose to use the old knowledge rather than the new knowledge. Common mistake, for example, if the user is asking, hey, how do I deploy this service? That the AI agent just like depends on the rack, it will retrieve a certain knowledge, which is true, but it's true in the past. And it will deliver the old instruction to the current user, which is also a bad behavior. The third thing is consistency failure. The AI agent is non-deterministic way of answering questions. So you don't actually expect every time you have the same input, it will have the same output. So this actually creates a friction in the verification. When certain times we have one first time you're testing this, the AI agent actually answered correctly, but you don't know when the next time it will still answer the same output. It will still deliver the same output. There is no way you can tell. So we need a full verification and a long process of validation for the AI agent to overcome these three major blockers to make sure the failure won't happen. So in this webinar, we're going over a demo, and by the way, this is also our new feature launch. We were going over why the evaluation is important and why choosing a right tool for the evaluation is important. So in the old way, most company and also the deliver team, they always validate AI agent. I'm sure if you are enterprise, you always validate your AI agent. But the old way, it most likely you are validating the AI agent using, by few prompts, by vibing. Here today, we're going to introduce the new way of evaluate your AI agent. It involves with run the evaluation and diagnose the failures and verify and audit the AI agent. And eventually you want to fix the AI agent with the AI. So here I'm going to hand over the mic to Marcin, who is going to demo our new feature, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it.
Okay, I'll start my screen. Hope you guys can see it. Mhm. And let's start with something that actually Robin mentioned, that a lot of companies and at the same time even larger enterprises are actually right now on the vibe basically train. So to actually find our evaluation tool suitable for the current era, we also have a tool called Chat to collaborate. When I asked an agent in a very simple prompt, create an agent for enterprise vendor access request assistance, and I provided basically three authoritative documents to the whole agent. I did not apply anything else than basically the vibe code that created as the agent that we're gonna right now go over. Just to quickly show you guys how the structure of agent looks like. The agent that was creating our agent for us, of course, came up with the instruction that comes with the information from the documents, but at the beginning is just the first instruction created by another AI. It can be good. Is it perfect? I don't think so. Let's actually try to find out what kind of flaws or strengths our agent has. The only thing that we have currently uploaded to this agent is actually those three authoritative documents, TPRM policy, access policy matrix, that contains information that current enterprises basically work on. It can be in any format, any data structure, agent will basically handle it. So right now, let's go to our evaluation suite. As basically this is brand new agent, not a single conversation with this agent. The only thing we prepared ahead is the set of few of the cases to not, of course, make it too easy for the agent to pass the evaluations. We actually want to surface the underlying problems, underlying basically issues with the agent prompt, with maybe the documents inconsistency. So we created a set of few cases, very enterprise, let's get workflow related. And we will focus maybe on the explanation part on basically one of the cases that are very common, are very hard to overcome when we have actually two blocking conditions within one, let's get agents. So in our case, we have a status of a review required for one of the customers, as well as expired contract, which triggers two completely different basically flows. Our evaluation set basically can contain of course, like the regular user main questions. Sometimes it can be actually with a lot of typos. We also have to take into consideration that employees work under stress, under time pressure. It will be never a perfect prompt. Sometimes they will forget the commas, the grammar, and so on. And at the end, expected result is not just like a single answer. It's actually a behavioral checklist that we want to make sure that our agent understands in terms of the evaluation. The AI judge that will be looking at each of the responses of the agent will be checking if actually the expected results match agent response, if the expected knowledge usage is actually also followed properly. And we can also make sure that our rejection criteria, as well as evaluation criteria, are also set firm. So we know when basically this is completely no-go, basically 0 on 10. You cannot basically think that the task was completed. Additionally, acceptance criteria can vary from the exact, basically, so the response must exactly match the expected content. We can loosen it up depending on the various use cases to strict, balanced, or even kind of loose. Every data set, of course, comes with the whole version history, with the control access to the workspaces, basically within the departments, and it can contain, of course, not only 3 questions, but hundreds of them. I will, right now, for a test, I will run all of them, basically. So I'm picking my agent that we want to validate against. It's also a freshly created agent, so technically this is the first configuration config of this agent. And we have our 5 use cases. Let's select them all and let's run it. As the evaluation will take a few minutes, I will give mic to Robin, and we'll come back to this screen when the evaluation cases will be fully covered.
Right. Thanks, Marcin. So evaluation is ongoing. Usually depends on the question sets and also depends on the complexity. The evaluation may take a few minutes to, 10, 20 minutes because we actually, the AI is going over question by question and comparing the ground truths. A lot of enterprise, they have their own data set that have the hundreds and thousands of the question and the ground truths. In this case, we are running 5 cases for a demo purpose. Meanwhile, we're waiting. I would like to ask our attendees a few questions. Let's run a poll. And you guys should be able to see the first question. If you are willing to answer, you can see I'll read out loud. Has your team or your company ever had an AI agent behave differently in production than it did in the demo? Well, you can answer yes or no. It's basically asking if there is any, if you have an AI agent running in your company or in your customer's company that is acting not as expected that like you were thinking, or maybe you're never actually deployed any agent. Feel free to answer. Let's give a couple seconds. All right. I'm gonna end the poll. Looks like we have most people have not yet deployed any agent to the production. I think this is still a very early space, but I'm sure there are companies and teams that are deploying AI agents. And we actually got a lot of reports from our customer. At least we actually have putting off the fire here and there just because AI agent is acting differently compared to what they expected during like the performance during the demo. The second question I would like to run is, let me launch the second poll question. So the second question is, how do you validate if an AI agent is ready to go, ready to deploy to the production? All right, I'll give a few seconds for our attendees to answer. Awesome. Okay, I'll end the poll. Looks like we have the most vote is on manual comparison between the agent answer versus the ground truth. I mean, this is very expected, and also most our customer and our partners are facing that sometimes every time they have an AI agent ready to go, they have to, run a few tests and then to see if the output actually matches the ground truth, or at least somewhere close to the ground truth. Which is, a nice way to do it because you have to make sure the AI agent is ready to go with a few tests. You don't want to deploy anything that is not tested, right? It's same as a software deployment. But the issue here that is, we know is since AI agents is probabilistic rather than deterministic, running a field test may works, but there's no way you are able to cover all scenarios. Like we mentioned before, the user you are never able to predict how the user going to interact with your AI agent. They can be changing the tones, and also the data can be different. The data is always dynamic. Comparing the AI agent with a few manual tests is a good habit, but it's not enough, right?
The results are ready. I can
Cool. I'll give a mic back to Marcin, and we can check out the result.
perfect. Okay, sharing my screen again. So we get the results from all of the five evaluations that we were running, and some of them actually managed to succeed. Our question actually matched our expected response. Along all of the three runs, we have a consistent scoring by the AI judge. At the same time, we always provide justification per each basically response. Even if the response is good or bad, we actually want to understand how AI agent as a judge basically rates it. To actually expand just the basic, let's get like a even semantic understanding of the response, we run comparison on the latency, on the input and output tokens, as at the end of the day, this is also our viable metric that all of the enterprises have to take into consideration. This use case went super well. Does not mean that, for example, if we will run 100 repetitions, it will always respond like that. So we can always adjust the number of runs, of test runs we wanna run. But at first, let's focus on the overall overview, which cases actually failed miserably, which cases are doing kind of okay, and let's try to update the agent instructions or reasoning patterns to make sure it performs well. Let's take a look at the example of a policy conflict when our expected response basically is strictly defined. And we see that on a question three, agent actually managed to follow the guidance and follow the policies. But on question number one and number two, we have a lot of things to basically fix. Agent is giving us information, basically why the response does not basically fits into higher rating and what is basically the issue. Fortunately, token cost and the input latency run is very similar, so we don't see any bottlenecks on this end. Let's also take a look at the case number three, which actually was validated at actually just three. This is this document conflict that we expected the agent to actually fail. We can view the trace of every single run. We can pinpoint to exact basically documents that the agent was pulling out from the database to navigate better around pinpointing the issue or understanding as a CISO or even tech security developers at which phase of the whole basically agent interaction it happened to be able to basically patch it and evaluate it to make sure that it's not doing the same thing again. And right now, on the next level of evaluation judge, we introduced basically the AI analysis on the whole run of the evaluation sets. And let me just quickly explain what this screen consists of. At first, as we know, AI agents are AI agents, and they speak kind of AI agents language. This is human readable information about the overall assessment. So how many runs, how it went it good or bad? This is something that we can understand very overall or very holistically where we are actually at right now. Overall assessment is a place for us to actually confirm our strengths or actually highlight and focus on our weaknesses in this case. We can identify, maybe not we, AI judge that is judging different judges can identify, for example, if the instruction adherence is sticking to the default, how are the reasoning analysis and reasoning patterns applied to all of the runs. So it's comparing the agent instructions versus evaluation sets versus the overall question that you might always not have an answer for. And beautiful feature that we actually super excited to launch is actually that the AI judge is promoting the suggested instruction changes. So in this case, the number basically document policy conflict, we see that the agent identified that we have a critical suggestion to the agent instruction that can help us bring the quality better. And we developed a tool to help us actually adjust it. As agent instruction is a living organism, we can run multiple evaluation at the same time, parallel by different departments. It's not that we have a strict agent instructions and we always can just add. Instruction change over the time. So we, based on the reasoning, which is basically the genesis of the issue, in a human language, what happened? Like how that happened? And comparing it to against the expected impact, basically what agents should do after modification, another AI judge is looking at everything that we've been through and is promoting, for example, or suggesting instructions in such a very Git kind of level to see basically what we're adding. And we can, of course, like apply the suggestion. We cannot apply. In this case, we will actually apply the suggestion, but we will not run the new evaluation right now because we are still fixing the other prompts. As we can see, this instruction was applied. Let's take a look at another review from the agent that we actually have some part of the DPA and data classification checks in our instructions, but we should actually expand it to match our previous runs because we identified differently. AI judge identified that we should actually add it with information. Why? And what is our expected impact? So let's try to additionally apply this suggestion provided by the AI agents. In this case, we will understand, for example, how instruction modification to one of the core cases can also affect the other use cases that we've been running through. Let's apply these suggestions, but let's still not go yet to final rerun of the whole analysis, as we have other cases failing. Let's take a look at policy conflict. If we will take a look at policy conflict, we additionally have, for example, information to the point 2a. What if the previous agent changed something? Let's try. Because this way we always take the newest version of the agent configuration that the instruction will be basically applied as a, let's get fusion force, basically. It's always living organism. 300 different people in a different department can modify the same thing at once. So that's why we have to keep in control over the newest updates if I'm not removing something that other person added. Okay, let's accept and apply this use case. And additionally, we can try to find out, for example, what went wrong in one of these cases, number 1. We can go directly to, we will cover the critical use cases. And this is also a very nice example that we already kind of approached with a previous agent, the modification for the point number 2. Let's see how it basically will come up with the merge of the previous attempt and a new attempt. And I will rerun the evaluations again, and I will give a quick mic to the Robin in a second, as again we will have to wait for a minute, and in the meantime we'll be able to engage in a conversation. So let's see what the agent will prepare. Actually, as you guys can see, this is what I mentioned like a second ago. It understands that the point 2a was actually added, but it should be a little bit modified. Let's accept and apply. And right now we will run the whole evaluation basically once again. And in the meantime, I will show you how the agent version changes are also provided with a very simple information for the user. We were running the version 1 of the agent. Right now, we're running the version 5 of the agent. And in the versions history, we can see every single step, who evaluated what and who applied basically what at which step. We can always read it as a basically humans, that the configuration was updated to add mandatory cross-document consistency check. If by any chance this evaluation will not go as smooth as we think, we can always come back to the previous version, apply the version that was, for example, more suitable for this this evaluation. Let's see the progress of our evaluations. We see that actually some of them already finished, and we can cover them right now. Case number 5 that actually managed to get the highest ratings at the beginning is still actually succeeding. So this is our success. We always want to be sure that the previous use cases are still not failing. We see actually improvement along the cases, with a small only improvement on the case number 4, legacy systems unclassified. We did not manage to get better results because we did not modify anything yet. But let's take a look at our blocking conditions, one loophole. We still see that the responses can be better, but fortunately, right now, at least they are passing our filter that still identifies some of the missing qualities of the prompts, but we can quickly even visually gauge if the input token latency is consistent across the runs. Previously, with the document conflict, we had basically rating 3. Right now, we managed to get to the proper rating on a very similar input token, output tokens. So we can understand that we are nailing something out there. To make it even more let's get resilient for errors, let's update this run to run 10 tests. Maybe it will uncover something new that we are not aware of. We can always run this evaluation in the back and just basically wait. And as we are waiting for the analyzing of the reruns of our evaluation, the AI judge also has a whole scope of when we started with basically case 3 with a 3.0 rating. Right now, the case 3 managed to go up to 10, for example, 10 points. So it sees the history, it sees the progress that we're doing, or on the other side, if we are doing something completely wrong, one instruction changes actually interfere with another use cases, we will understand it, and AI judge will also understand. Perfect. Case 3, even on the 10 runs, managed to succeed on a spectacular level that we see consistency across all of the runs. Of course, as with every type of infrastructure, sometimes the latency is not our indicator that something is going wrong or bad, but it can really nicely highlight as the use cases that could take our additional attention. In this case that we want to actually try to improve is the legacy systems basically case, when we see that the follow-up to the first question is actually processing good, but the first question can still fail. Let's take a look what agent is suggesting us to add. It's suggesting us to add actually point to C to our two our chapter second chapter. So let's see on a very simple critical instruction change. Let's try to apply this change, and we will see how the agent will perform. Okay. Of course, maybe I actually did not mention about it. If by any chance we don't like, for example, how the suggestion is created, we can always modify it. So, for example, we can add additional points here whenever basically we feel that this is something that the AI judge should take into consideration. Also, it can come up the same for the reasoning, or, for example, if we think that the genesis of the issue is maybe different, we can also explain it to the agent in here. Right now, comparing the preview of the instructions, as basically AI systems really like Markdown files, we display it in like a Markdown. If you guys are looking for like a unified view, we also have it. You can even take a look at the raw view. We're just trying to fit all of the let's get expectations of the users. We can again apply this improvement. But let's take a one last case example is that what if agent, or I mean AI judge, was not able to identify the proper let's get issue that we're trying to address. We can actually add our own suggestion to AI judge to take a look or take another look at the whole evaluation that happened, whole analysis of the reasoning patterns, and apply our own custom instructions. For example, never rely on web search. And we can basically refine the whole suggestions that will take into consideration even the first launch of our evaluation test case. Because as test cases evolve, we are also providing the whole versioning of the data sets. Sometimes the issue can happen on the, let's get, fifth repetition of the whole, let's get, evaluation data set modification, that we will realize that they affect finally the answers, for example, in the months later. So that's why evaluation and trying to understand how agent works helps AI judge to navigate even better to just pinpoint and nail exactly the agent's instructions. So whenever I asked for this information, no web search, it came up with actually few modifications that we can apply. We don't have to. Right now, I think as we basically rerun all of the cases, let's try again case number 4. But as I already just mentioned, we cannot just run just one by one. Let's try them all to see if our results are consistent across all of the runs. And this is something that every enterprise can schedule. Evaluation toolkit can be also plugged in as a monitoring section, so it validates the answers that are coming from, for example, production users in basically, let's get very close to real time to identify and surface the critical information to basically security people who should be informed about agent not sticking to the instructions. Okay.
Yeah, as Marcin mentioned, that we are actually give the versioning of all the AI agents change. I'm sure we are all aware that every time you change some instruction or prompt side setting for the AI agent, it's very hard to guarantee it will still work for the previous questions that actually passed the bar, right? So running the evaluation sets multiple times until every time you make a change on the versioning, doesn't matter is the instruction change or the tool change or the skill change, you always need to validate if the AI agent still works in the previous questions, also the upcoming question as well. So I think it's very important to make sure that AI agent, every single change is versioning, and we can see what changed over the time and what updated, and then do the evaluation to give you the really number that tells you this AI agent, what score this AI agent is currently at this test set.
Thank you, Robin. Exactly. And at the same time, we can also see if our changes from the previous cases, as we mentioned, that does not interfere with our new ones. So some of the modifications that we did to the agent instructions for the case 2, that was actually first run on the case 2 was 6.3, then 8.7, but right now it stayed at 8.5. So there is something still we can find out and analyze. That's why we have this magic button here for the AI judge to find out what possibly is missing from the whole picture. But we can see consistent trends across case 3 that we started with 3.0. We managed to get to 10, and again, case 5 is still succeeding. Case 1 policy conflict that also started with 5 is still passing very nice. And let's see at the document conflict that has the most runs, because this is something that we want to make sure, because it's our critical, for example, use case, that it's always on the top evaluation. We also can see each question, what's the state of this question, where are we going, and errors on the infrastructure also happens. So 404 on, for example, internal document set can also trigger different agent behavior that will be also taken into consideration during the whole evaluation of the AI judge. As this run is running multiple runs, maybe I can switch back to Robin, and at the end I will just revise this, because this might take a second.
Yeah, as Martin mentioned, what we trying to do for our evaluation toolkit here is we want to provide you a number that you're able to deliver the AI agent with confidence. When your customer or your company internally trying to build an AI agent, how do you know if this AI agent is ready, right? When the customer is asking, hey, what's the score or what's the percentage of the accuracy of this AI agent? If you only run maybe 5 to 10 tests on your manual comparison, you're not able to provide a number. Here, with our evaluation toolkits, you're able to create thousands, hundreds of thousands of the test kits and run the evaluation. At a certain point, what Marcin was showing, you can say, hey, we changed the AI agent over time and we got the score from 3.0 to 8 out of 10, which is a huge improvement. And then you can pull out the analysis saying, hey, this is 2 point missing, which is actually tolerable or not. You can show this evidence to your customer with confidence, and this AI agent can just ship to the production in no time. Right.
Okay, perfect. We can come back to me, because I see that the evaluation literally just finished. Okay, and let's see at this longest basically run. We see common tens across the run, but let's focus on those red dots. Let's see what they consist of. We see that the latency is actually in this run number 5, it's just slower than the average, when the average is actually around this 36, 37 seconds. Fortunately, we have it surfaced that we can take a look if this was maybe just like an API hiccup. We see the consistent output tokens, so we can always come back to run number 5 and run number 7. Let's go to run number 5. Let's see the trace, and let's see that, okay, actually, we see that in this case, knowledge retrieval took so many seconds, possibly that agent retrieved much more than it should. we can pinpoint exactly this use case to make sure that the agent next time will let's get cover it. It may not mean that the long response time is the immediate failure, because as we guys can see here, we have a knowledge retrieval actually in milliseconds. It could be a database hiccup, it could be API hiccup. There's various stuffs around basically the globe what could cause such a issue, but we are able to pinpoint it. We are not guessing. We are diagnosing basically the whole thing, troubleshooting to be know what exactly to address. And as finishing the whole evaluations preparation, we also wanted to highlight one tiny thing. Most of the ERP enterprise systems allow for example, exporting current QA sets. We are, of course, and now allowing it to import it. But to take it to the next level, we also introduce the AI as assisted dataset generation that can be based on the documents, internal documents, external documents, web links, public knowledge, additionally with follow-ups. And we want to make sure that the even migration from the obsolete or old way evaluation tools for new agentic era are also, let's call it like a seamless, smooth integrated into AgentX. Okay, and back to Robin. I think you muted yourself.
Yes, I am. So, so as we are wrapping up of our demo, and I would like to continue our Q&A session. So what we actually go over, we actually went over the evaluation toolkits from AgentX. For people who actually don't know what AgentX is, we're actually a enterprise agent framework that you can build AI agent out of, chatting. And then why we are launching this evaluation tool is when we actually delivering AI agent to our customer, we the one big blocker is our customer always asks, how do I know this agent is reliable, is actually ready to go production? Then we actually come back and we had a discussion. It's like, hey, we cannot just ask our customer, we did 5 or 6 times testing, is all working good. It should be ready to go production. This is not how software or enterprise software work, right? So we need to actually provide evidence to our customer saying, hey, this is ready. Why? Because it get 9 out of 10 score out of these thousands of questions, thousands of scenarios we were benchmark testing it. This is how the evaluation tool actually come out. Um, okay, and I believe in our attendees there we have a lot of people here that are actually in the industry that either building AI agent at the moment or for your company or for your customer. I would like to hear any comments or questions if you have. Let's um, let's give a moment for guys to uh, ask a question, and we are here to answer. All right, it seems like everyone is quite confident the AI agent that you guys are building, and I hope you guys can give Agent X a chance to test it out. So one last thing that we want to announce is we are also supporting agent-to-agent communication that you are able to use our evaluation toolkit without building AI agent on Agent X. It's a coming soon feature that should allows you to connect or import your AI agent on the different platform, for example, the Cloud Code or OpenAI that you can import onto AgentX platform, and then you can run the evaluation against it. All right. So, since no one is asking any question, maybe I can actually promote some questions for discussion.
Go ahead. I can always cover the one question that always comes up, surprisingly not today, is that what if one agent is actually facing multiple users, multiple departments? How we evaluate such agents then? If we at one point are trying to come up with all of the use cases that basically the end user, the sales department, the technical department can have, or basically we should basically maybe come back to three different agents. Evaluation suits will actually let us know at one point if we are getting somewhere or if we're getting to nowhere. Helping to navigate the quality for all of the teams. This is a very common question that comes on evaluation for enterprises.
Yeah. Do you want to answer your own question, or you want to give a chance for the attendees to answer?
We can actually switch that. We're asking questions, the attendees. So let's see.
Right.
Mhm.
All right, let's give a few seconds. If not, then maybe you can answer your own question.
Perfect. Uh, Perfect. Thank you, Marcin, for your question. I would love to answer that. So usually we noticed actually both gates. We are able to bring the highest quality of the agent by just providing more data sets focused on the specific angles that we or different customers, users, even systems integrate or interact with the agent. But whenever we don't see consistency across nine, for example, points and up, this is our indicator that we very possibly might not get there. So then distributing the knowledge into three different agents and evaluating them on a similar data sets can prove us that basically we're able to hit the ultimate tens that we're looking for. Because at the end of the day, this brings the quality. Enterprises cannot live on guessing that, oh yeah, 8 on 10 times it will probably respond properly. Right now, we have to be completely certain. Written evaluation rules are the best metric basically for navigating around even such a questions like we like I just asked myself. Should we continue with one agent for three different use cases, or should we do three different agents for all of those use cases independently?
Great, great. Um, all right. I have another question that maybe we can do an open discussion.
Mhm.
So in this demo, you actually covers 5 scenarios, and each scenarios actually have a multiple questions and ground truths. So at what point do you think for an enterprise AI agent, how many scenarios is enough so that a score that you deliver in the end is meaningful?
Okay, a very nice question. I think it's can be treated as a little bit living organism. As models evolve, company also evolves, company data also evolves. At the same time, you covered this at the same beginning. What if the data that was valid 2 months ago is not valid anymore? So the data set should definitely consist at least of 10 questions. I would suggest 50 to 100 of questions because this can provide reliable, basically tracing of the history. If we're not missing something that was obsolete 2 years ago, if agent is still responding properly for things that are obsolete, basically. So the more use cases, the better quality, the better sleep. I would say it's a small living organism that constantly we can add more use cases and constantly keep the highest quality on the agent.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Um, that actually brings up another question that if we have a lot of scenarios and test data sets, and somehow the result is always stuck at let's just say 7 out of 10. So
Mhm.
how do I know when to stop, improving the prompts versus it's time to rebuild the whole AI agent?
Very good question. I think this AI overview panel, where it can consist the basically overall assessment, analysis, basically the pattern analysis, the reasoning analysis, the tool use. This is our a little bit like a small Bible against this agent. Why it's doing those things in such a way? What if we are asking agent on something that the current technology cannot do? It will never fulfill our let's get expected 10 because for example the agent cannot suddenly spin right now 3000 different agents because it's just like a limitation of the system. We can read it as humans, the overall assessment of the AI judge to also understand if that, hey, not a single prompt fix will fix the issue that comes from, for example, underlying infrastructure or even connected hardware in a physical AI.
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes user are, benchmark testing it is try to do something that's physically not possible to do.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, that's cool. And let's give a couple minutes or seconds for audience to prompt any questions. If not, then we will conclude this webinar. All right. Um, Thanks, guys, for joining. And I will follow up with you. And we will also upload this demo videos onto YouTube, and I will share to other audience. Feel free to reach out to AgentX. You can send an email to contact@agentx.so, or you can simply interact with us on the LinkedIn page, and we will be very responsive. And hopefully, you guys like the webinar and give a try on AgentX, the new tool that we just released. And yeah, I think this will be a great feature set for the enterprise customer that you are pursuing or even yourself. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys.
Cheers.